Hey, good morning, everyone. Futures Brizio here. Wednesday, February 28th, 9:15 a.m. New York time, about 15 minutes before the most of the U.S. session opens here. And I just thought I'd do a really quick video on just a couple of pre-market looks at a couple of markets here in futures. So let's get right into it. This should be pretty quick. First of all, with crude oil. You can see with crude oil, we have been heading up. We've been in this pretty decent uptrend, although it's really choppy up in this area. And if you zoom out to a long time frame, you can see that this area, about where it is right now, somewhere around this, what is this, around the $78, $78 to $79 area, has been pretty good resistance. I did take a scalp this morning. I'm already out of it. You can see this was the trade I took a little while ago. It is still going up, but I'm not super comfortable with holding it too much longer just because of these levels. If we can get a break, although it may not happen today, above here, then I think this can go a lot higher. But for now, anyways, like I said, I took a scalp earlier this morning, which I've already closed. So I probably won't be re-entering crude oil today. I'll just let it play out. If we end up closing the day higher above these long-term resistance, then tomorrow is another day to look to get back long. So let's look quickly at soybeans. So this is the I'm now looking at the May contract. This is a 5-minute chart. If we zoom out a little bit to the 1 hour, you can see we've definitely been in a very consistent downtrend here. Every time we kind of come up near the 50 period moving average, we're bouncing and going down. If we jump to shorter time frames, I just have a few levels marked off here. I'm just kind of looking at this. So these, if there's a short in here, I'm going to be pretty conservative with it because, again, as I just showed here, the best place to enter these shorts are when the price comes back to the 50 on like the hourly chart, or maybe just poking through it a little bit on the 30-minute chart. And those are the best, risk to reward ratios, when it comes up here. And you can see all these places it's touched. There's plenty of entries. I mean, just in what you can see here, there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this one's kind of borderline, but maybe 9, 10. You got 10 entries here inside of a month. So, and that's on the longer time frame too. But anyways, it still is in a downtrend, and so I might be willing to take a short here today. If we can break lower. I'm not sure if this is we're gonna come back up into this level first, or whether we're just gonna sell from here. But I'd be willing to trade it back to the low. So I'm just keeping an eye on what soybeans does, but it's certainly I'm on the short side of that market. And then with cattle, you can see cattle. On the other hand, the soybeans has been in a persistent uptrend. We are at a little bit of a resistance here on the hourly chart. You can see right here, we did not break this high yesterday on this move up yesterday. Okay, we kind of stalled out a little bit before these highs that were hit on around February 22nd, 23rd last week. And so, I'm going to be a little bit cautious on long positions here. You can see as we drop down in time frames here, we are making lower highs. This looks relatively bearish right here. So this area right here is kind of an area that I'm looking for, to hold for long positions. If we get a break below here, certainly below here, then, this might turn lower. But for now, I still maintain a bullish bias here. But again, I'm a little bit cautious for, that it failed to take out the high yesterday on this pushback up right over here. But that doesn't mean it won't today. So again, my bias on this is still to the long side, but, I'd have to see a decent entry in order for me to willing to take this, because this certainly could continue to push down. But I think at some point we'll see this, begin to push back up again. So, kind of neutral on cattle right now with a slight bias to the long side. Okay. And then finally on S&P and NASDAQ, I haven't taken a trade on either one of these in a while. And you can see here, going back into last week, we've essentially been inside this trading range on the NASDAQ. This is the hourly chart of the NQ. And you can see we're just, trading inside this range. I don't trade ranges. I know some people like to, scalp this in between the ranges on a short time frame. I like trending markets. And so we're not really doing anything here. There's no major economic news. There are some Fed speakers today, but there's nothing major. We did have U.S. GDP, I believe, earlier this morning, but it didn't really move the market very much. So you can see the GDP number that came out at 8:30 this morning. It was lower than expected, so that's is technically a negative for the U.S. dollar, which but it didn't really have much effect on these futures prices. So there's the NASDAQ, and the ES looks pretty much the same. Again, you can see I have these trading ranges drawn out, and it's pretty much been sitting in for a week. So until if and when we get a breakout and resume these trends, whether we start going up or down, then I'm not interested in either one of these markets. Just zooming out a little bit, you can see here on the 4-hour chart, this 50-period moving average is really holds the price well. We're not quite there yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see price continue down back towards the 50. Obviously, unless we really, take out this area down here, I still consider this to be in an uptrend. Okay, this is kind of the line in the sand for me back here, or maybe back here. But I wouldn't be surprised to continue to see some downward pressure back towards this area before maybe we move back up again. But I'll be keeping an eye on it. But like I said, as long as we're just bouncing inside this really narrow range, I have no interest in either one of these markets. So, but like I said, they're on my watch list. I just keep an eye on what they're doing. Potentially maybe I would consider a short if this breaks lower. If we break out of here, I might consider short positions heading back down towards this zone. I'd probably be pretty conservative on it, only because we are still in an uptrend overall. But you can see there is if we did get a breakout here to the downside, I think there is some room to run as kind of a counter trend trade back towards these levels down here. But like I said, we'll see how it goes. And right now, I'm not really interested in either one of these. So that's it, guys. That's just kind of the quick look at what's happening today. And if I do end up taking any additional trades, maybe I'll come back later and show you what's going on. But that's the quick analysis. All right, guys, have a good morning, and we'll catch up soon.